It's October, it's Black History Month. Happy Black History Month, everybody.
Well, in one of the Old Testament books, the Book of Numbers, there are five obscure characters that are mentioned, and they were the daughters of Zelophehad. These women approached Moses to put their case to him because they really felt that they had been overlooked. They said that just because our father didn't have any sons, why does his inheritance have to go to someone else? Is it because we're women? Well, Moses took the case to the Lord, and the Lord said, well, they're right. They should get an inheritance. And the rest is history. I'd like to draw an analogy between these women and some of our present day heroes who stepped out of their comfort zone and dared to stand up for what they instinctively knew was right. You see, if Rosa Parks had given way to the taunts of fellow bus passengers, she would never have written, "Knowing what must be done does away with fear." If Martin Luther King never marched through the streets of Washington for justice, we would never know that he had a dream. Indeed, God has given us all a voice. He has removed the cloak of invisibility and given us a destiny.
As a child, there was very little resource going back all those years to educate yourself about Black history and the contribution that Black people had made to societies wherever they were in Africa, but also around the world. And what Black History Month does is that it gives people like myself, my 14-year-old self, but also just the world a greater awareness of the amazing contribution that Black people have made to the world in lots of different ways.
I'm just so pleased that I'm able to share my thoughts and perceptions on the theme for this year, which is diversity. Diversity for me is something that I really embrace because it comes with a lot of richness. I take a lot of strength from the words of one of my favorite artists, Seal, in his song "Get It Together," where he says, "Who am I to judge the color of your hair?" Really, it's about not being judgmental, but accepting and embracing what diversity means and what it brings and what it opens up for us in terms of opportunities, in terms of learning, in terms of experience that we get.
I'm so grateful for the chance to think about diversity with family at St. Barnabas because I do confess, given my position in the United States and given my professional training as an historian of the United States South, when I think about diversity in the church, I am filled with grief. And indeed, my entire professional life has been spent working out this grief. This grief at the shameful failure of white Americans to love Black Americans as their brothers and sisters in Christ. I do feel full of grief, but I feel invited by the different context to think about redemptive possibilities too. And of course, I hope for that in my own country and in my own congregation here. I hope for the parable of the Good Samaritan to be worked out 100 times, for people to cross lines of difference, every line of difference, every axis of human differentiation, not just real or imagined differences of race or ethnicity or class. And I think of the beauty of mutual submission that comes when folks do cross those lines. And I think of a model of a more just way of organizing human society that can work outward from the church and into the world. And I think of how beautiful it would be if every gift mattered and was harnessed for the purposes of creating a beloved community. And I think of little fragments of that I have felt at Barnabas. And it reminds me of some of the beauty that can be. And let's hope it will be all the more glorious for having overcome real historical patterns of pain and hardship and brokenness.